And it is August 14th. I almost said 2020, but anyway, it's just been a very long day and a very interesting week. And only a couple things tonight to talk about. One, basically, let's start with the other one first and that kind of stuff. And that is the U.S. Post Office. Most people don't realize that the post office is in the Constitution, that there shall be a post office. Okay, the reason being was because back in the day, that was how they got information and news around, and it was not controlled by the government, even though it is a federal post office. It's put in there that the government should not be in control of it. That way, it's not one party that is giving all the news. So that way, nobody, fake news, and just telling people what they want to hear. But of course, now though, with everything going on, it is Trump even said that he is sabotaging the post office. And once again, like I said, where's the post have a post office? Now, the guy who he named his the Postmaster General is Louis DeJoy. Okay, now here's the thing: is he got the job just like all the other people that Trump got jobs for, is because he's a huge donor to to Trump, big supporter and that kind of stuff. So what do? He gets his buddies jobs in his administration. Now here is the problem though with the joy here is the fact that he has financial capital. He has something to gain from it. Okay, now he has assets between 30.1 million and 75.3 million in competitors to the United States Post Office, like truck companies, J.B. Hunt, UPS. So the thing is, basically, you put a guy in charge of the post office who is already competing against the post office financially. So so I mean, if that's not right there a huge hint that something's going on, that Trump doesn't want the mail-in votes. And he this whole time been to fund post office. Post office needs to do this thing, do that, and that stuff to make money. But you put one of your supporters who owns these other companies that are competing to help knock them out. So, I mean, right there, that is it's a classic conflict of interest right there. And the thing is, before anybody talk about the whole mail-in voting, there are 5 states that's how they do all their elections is mail-in votes. That's how it's done. But if you want to talk funny irony in a way, Trump, the post office is, mail-in voting, no, blah, blah, blah. Well, him and Melania, they put in for their mail-in votes for this upcoming election. So it's just kind of one of those, you want to get rid of everybody else's mail-in vote, but you want to keep yours. Seems a little fishy. And the thing is, it's like one of the ways that they are sabotaging is it's in the news. They started taking out some of these sorting machines. These machines, and it takes 2 people to run each machine. Okay, the machines do the job of at least 10 to 15 people. So you're slowing down the mail. Also, if your mail carrier happens to be sick, their routes aren't covered. So you could actually go 2 to 3 days without getting any mail. So what does that mean? That means, if you depend on the post office to get a lot of your prescriptions and that stuff through the mail, you might not get them. They might just be sitting there for a number of days before they're able to get to them, and because they got rid of, overtime and all that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those. If it's one way, this is a big sabotage. I mean, honestly, I still think if Somehow, if Trump could try to find a way to cancel the election, I think he will. That's just my opinion. But, I'm just saying, to me, the signs are starting to kind of point that way, because, I mean, hell, you're trying to get rid of the post office and mail-in votes and that. So we'll just see how all that plays out, because that's just going to be interesting. So anyhow, now on to the most irritating thing in the world. This whole cancel culture. These, and when you look at it, it's all these kids, it's like they're in their 20s, most of them, that kind of stuff. And it's just like, here they don't, it's like if they don't like something, they want it gone. If we just get rid of it, then it doesn't exist anymore and life is good. The latest, the cancel culture, they are calling for canceling Rick and Morty. All right, Rick and Morty, they want them canceled, and of course they also want Family Guy canceled. Family Guy, they're going after just because of the whole Old Man Herbert, which is just a funny character. And then Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon, one of the guys who's in, who's the show creators and that kind of stuff. Years and years ago, and this already came up once back in 2018, but he did a parody skit and stuff. It was for at that time there's a show called Dexter. Of course, that was the again, I didn't watch it, but it was one of those mass murderer guy who worked for the cops and that kind of stuff like that. But he did a parody and called it Daryl. Now, in his little parody sketch, the video, he's a therapist. It's supposed to be like the dark side of therapy and that. And he winds up giving one of his patients tons of sleeping medicine or sleeping pills, so that to knock him out, because that way he can see the baby, and wind up showing Dan Harmon climbing in the window and climbing on top of a baby doll, and then it goes dark. One of the other things in the little episodes and that stuff was, okay, yes, he was insinuating that he was molesting a child, but he was also, though, see, that was just for the little trailer. The whole story in a longer episode version thing was he would go, and he was going back like in time and molesting like Hitler as a baby, serial killers, all these people. He is going through, and all these people they're bad guys and stuff. He's molesting them as babies. Now, I mean, it's at the moment, when you think about that part there, it's funny. Okay, yes, it is very dark humor, and when that came out in 2018, the first time that because they got rid of it, was originally the Daryl thing came out around 2005. So then, I mean, all those years later, it surfaces. Dan Harmon puts out there, at the time, I thought it was funny. It was a mistake. It's now looking, back on it, it wasn't wasn't appropriate, and we're just kind of sorry about doing that. Okay. Adult Swim, everybody was like fine with the apology, and they even said that they don't approve, but they want people to be creative and that kind of stuff, but they don't approve that kind of content. That kind of content will never be part of Adult Swim. Now all of a sudden, bang, it resurfaces again, and everybody's calling out to cancel Rick and Morty. People are saying that I threw away my Rick and Morty T-shirt. I did that. It's like it's obviously it was a joke, and he said before, it's a very poorly attempted joke, but still, nonetheless, it's just a video, and of course, if you try to say that, the first thing comes out, oh, so you think pedophilia is funny? You think it's okay to dance? Like, oh my God, just saying it was just a video. The guy, he made, you know what, he put the video together for a little comedy thing, realized it wasn't fun, he apologized for it, and he's not, you know, it's just one of those, someone out there got in there, shot it out there again. So it's one of those, why would you call for, I mean, the guy got an apology, but nobody likes it. It's got to go. It's got to go. And it's just like, what the hell? I mean, it's like Chris, like you said, they're all pussies. Yeah, this new culture of kids coming up, they are complete pussies and that stuff when it comes to stuff. If you can't even go and make any kind of anything that might be considered lewd in a, you know, funny sort of way, things like that is completely wrong. You know, it's just like, my God. I mean, when did we just stop? You know, just let things be what they are. I mean, you can't even say anything to people anymore without them freaking out, because you don't know how they're going to take it. You don't know if they're going to freak out, if they're going to be, you know, you know, you're calling me this, you know, it's like to say, let me get that for you, ma'am, or thank you, ma'am. I am a sir, right? You know, I do not identify as a ma'am. I mean, things like that. It's like you're just trying to be nice. You weren't jumping all over and stuff, yeah, you know, calling names and stuff. It's like, Jesus Christ, you know. So it was one of those that you don't think it's funny. He did that. He said, sorry. Just get over it. Just stop with all of the petitions, which is probably the worst thing ever, is that change.org, I think it is, where you can make a petition and get enough signatures, and they'll send it off for you to get something changed. Stupidest thing ever. Why? It's not going to work. You know, it's just one of those, why are we? It's just a waste of freaking time. All right. If you know, signing a petition on the internet is not going to do anything. Okay. So there's a lesson for all you young people out there that think that. It's stupid. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And yes, people, Johnny will be, especially him, will be like, you sound like an old man. Well, I'm sorry. There's just some stuff that's just ridiculous. Okay. I mean, for Christ's sakes, not everybody's going to think the same stuff. Just leave it alone. Especially since the only reason, and see, this goes back to the whole thing that you all have short attention spans. Okay, there's all this other stuff going on, but the hot button right now, all of a sudden, the whole Epstein stuff comes down, and everybody's like, "Oh, all you guys are like Epstein," and you're trying to find anything that you can relate to pedophilia and that stuff, and it's just like, for Christ's sakes, every single person is basically out there without any kind of proof is being called a pedophile for no reason. And the worst of them was former failed actor and comedian Isaac Cappy, who wound up committed suicide, accused Seth Green, actually was stalking Seth Green, and put his name, saying that he was a pedophile. And but what the weird thing is, there were letters and stuff written from Isaac to Seth, and that stuff where he called him his friend, and it's great to see him, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. It's on TMZ. They put the letters online, and it's just like, but then all of a sudden he starts doing that, and he starts calling all these other people out. It's just like, what are you doing? There's no proof. You're just saying. But same thing with Dan Harmon. Yeah, he did this stupid video. But the thing is, there's no proof that he is. There's also nothing connecting him, like into the Epstein stuff. I mean, if you really want to connect people, read the papers, read the over 2,000 pages of stuff. You're going to be able to read through there because yes, it does name a lot of names, and it insinuates because some names they blacked out for now, but there's going to be more names on there. But the majority of them, we know who's going to go on there. Okay, stop with that kind of stuff. It's just the most mind-numbing ever. I mean, especially since the weird thing is because the people complaining said they're in their 20s, and these are kids who basically their parents grew up watching South Park and Family Guy, as a matter of fact, and then everything was fine. But then they get out in the world, and everything has to be changed. You cannot just get rid of something and it not exist anymore. Because if it worked that way, then hey, you know what? I say we cancel cancer. And then we do that, and oh my God, no one will have it anymore. That's just a little thought on that there. But of course, it doesn't help that we have basically a media that it's hard to realize who do you believe, who do you want to believe. That it's not like it was back in the day when you had like Dan Rather and all these guys, respected journalists and that kind of stuff. That when they came on, they just gave the news. They didn't give their opinions on the stuff. Now it's about marketing, and so everybody got this opinion here, got that opinion there. So you watch you watch that one because you like this, and it's just like, so there's really no truth anymore of even being told. The only thing that's being considered truth is a headline that someone will read on Facebook without even reading the article. A couple of years back, I put a fake article up on my Facebook saying that because of lack of funding and funds, that the state of Missouri was going to take the St. Louis Arch down, and that actually was being responded to. People responding, they can't do that. Oh my God, it's like, but if you really read through, it's like it was completely fake, but nobody paid attention. So I don't know. And see, as I said, it's coming down to, and it all weirdly, thank you, Christopher. It all weirdly goes back to the whole same thing. The cancel culture kids are the same ones who were the participation trophy kids. So once again, they bitch. They want something canceled. They want something gone. They sign a petition on change.org. They throw their fits. This needs to be canceled, taken off the air, and they think their opinion is right because everything mommy and daddy told them that they did was perfect. Oh, you're so smart. You did such a good job, and that stuff. And so all these kids grew up thinking they're special. Well, you're not special. All right. Very few people are special out there. And if you had to have a participation trophy given to you, you're not special. It's just plain and simple. And of course, the same people who think that they're going to put a chip in us. They're going to track us. What do you do that's so important that they want to track you? I mean, my day, I'd turn around, they'd be, if I got tracked, well, let's see. He went to the grocery store, sat in the bathroom playing on was pooping and playing on his cell phone for about half an hour. Later on, masturbated. I mean, Jesus, and that's the interesting stuff for the most part. I mean, it's like one of those. But if you want to go along with they're going to be tracking us, and you want to say think about this here. Everybody's saying the vaccine is coming out that's how they're going to be tracking. They're going to be putting that chip in because it goes up through, they go through the nose with a swab and stuff, and that's how they're getting it in. Well, if you have a smartphone, they're tracking you. Look inside a lot of your clothing, especially like Victoria's Secret. They got a lot of their stuff. The tags have an electric reader thing in there that it's a little microchip, and it's not just for security either. Hell, you play around on the computer enough, you get on your Facebook, all of a sudden you got these ads popping up, which it's kind of screwed up whenever you're looking up a topic, and of course is because of all the Epstein stuff. I was curious, so I was typing in that, the whole child sex trafficking. All of a sudden, my Facebook, I get these ads for say, do you need about being a lawyer for to defend you for sex crimes? It's like, ooh, shit, Let's see, what does Christopher say? They already can track our phones. Yeah, they do. I mean, they won't spend extra money on the chips when they already pay them to track us. I mean, that is true. I mean, it's like I said, you're already being tracked. They know where you're at. Now, if you could pick, you can actually take a cell phone, one of the smartphones that has no service. You don't have it doesn't have a phone number and that stuff. If it has a charge, you can hit for an emergency call, and they'll come out to you. They know that the phone bang, they can go and send help. So, I mean, it's just that easy. But if let's say that they were tracking, gonna chip people, why would they go through the nose? Well, what I like to think is they put it up through the nose because it goes so far back that it's close to the brain. Okay, now that chip's going to need to be keep a charge going. All right, so the brain, of course, is like the electrical box for the body. When they do like things like ECT, when they give a shock, it turns around and it's like flipping a breaker switch. So the chip goes up against there. It's being powered by your brain. So actually, the chip, you're powering your own chip. Pop it in there, and the 5G is supposed to be a network that can reach further and more, and stuff. So to be able to penetrate through your skull and that stuff, they go on 5G. It's right there. So what's going to happen is later we're all going to have some sort of brain cancer or facial cancer because the 5G reading the chip is just going to go right through and screw everything up through there. Who cares if you track me? I like shooting guns, having sex, smoking. I'm with you, except I don't smoke the weed. But even at that, I said I'd be the least interesting person to track. Now, going backtracking just a little bit, as I mentioned the talking about the web searches and stuff and sex offenders. This is the one thing that I do think that needs to be changed in the United States and stuff. And a lot of people do not realize this. In Kansas, especially, now I'm not sure about all cities, but I'm pretty sure it's going to wind up being the same. Okay, if you're put on the sex offender list, you committed a crime, you're on the list. As long as you comply for about 4 or 5 years, they take your name off the list, and you're no longer on it. All you got to do is comply. That's it. You're not. It's not a lifetime thing. Which it's like, why? Why is it not a lifetime thing? I mean, then here's how I know this, because it's like that is a little bit of a sick obsession of mine. Is I like going to the Kansas Department of Corrections and stuff, and it's like, hey, let's see who the sex offenders are and that kind of stuff. And if you make you become monotone, like, yeah, I don't want to be monotone. But now, as I was saying, it's like, so I go to the Kansas Department of Corrections, their website. I like looking around in the thing and say, you know, who shows who the sex offenders are in the neighborhood. It also puts who's been in for manslaughter in there too, which is just kind of like, maybe that's good to know. If I might get, someone might get stabby, I know where it's going to be coming from, maybe. But so watching on there, because it's like over the years, the website has got so much better because they used to be just like, okay, is very vague. Now it turned into, this is part of the complying. They go, a complying sex offender will go in every year and get a brand new picture taken. And they'll have every picture for those years saved on there that you can look down the timeline. Any new tattoos, it says stuff like that. It gives the, not only the address, it gives their make of vehicle, the license, registration, and also their work. So there's all this information on there. Now, here's how I know that you get off of it. One more, because there's actually one morning during the show, something we were talking about, this whole sex offender thing, and who had more sex offenders in the neighborhood, and we put in our our addresses and that stuff, and of course, being Wyandotte County, hey, guess who won that one? But I was looking, it's like, holy crap! I know, like, I went to high school with him, and Johnny says his name on the air and stuff. But then I didn't even say the high school part. At that, on there, but says his name on there. So yeah, he does look like he does, diddles a kid and that kind of stuff. And so that goes out, and then that same day, all of a sudden, because even though being compliant, the school district, I guess, wasn't paying attention, or they had no idea. Later that day, there was a paper given to every kid on the bus that they changed the bus stop because it was in front of his house. So it was one of those. Ooh boy, that was just kind of one of those. Personally, I laughed because the guy was a dick. Okay, so it is one of those, but he's off of it, and it's one of those originally. It's like I just drove by. It lives right around the corner from me, and it's like, well, at first I was like, well, maybe he moved, and then it's like, no, that's still his vehicle right there, and no, they just turns out if you comply. And I'm just gonna say, originally the first time when I saw it on the site, it said lewd and lascivious behavior. Now that was, at that time, I was like, yeah, the guy's a dick, but it was very vague when they first started that, and that could be anything from being that in a bar district and wind up going to the parking lot and peeing and stuff, being caught, even though there's nobody underage there. There for a while, Kansas, Missouri was really bad about they made all these people sex offenders because they got drunk in Westport and they wound up peeing in an alley. So, it's like, okay, well, that's kind of one of those, I feel bad for you if that's the case, but it's like, hey, you got caught doing that, but then turns around as they update their site and make it a lot better. No, lewd and lascivious behavior involving lewd and lascivious behavior with a minor under the age of 14. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, now we know what you are. So, but now, apparently, I guess after 4 years of being on the list, you can turn around and you're cured, I guess, of it. To see what Chris, when I was in Lansing, some lifers would come through and do paperwork checks to see who the pedos were. But in Kansas, you'll see it's hate crime if an inmate assaults another inmate who's a kid. Yeah, that's kind of, see, now here's one thing. That the kid, as far as I know, because I haven't been to prison, but I'm pretty sure they probably put like the pedophiles, people like that, in like a safer area and probably not in Gen Pop. They put, that's what I would think, because they got to think of their safety. Now, here is just an idea, okay? Now, bear with me on this. Whether you believe in the whole COVID thing or not, What if the people in there, for touching a kid, they're put in their own area together, quarantined together, they're all given COVID, and we test the vaccines on them? I mean, because technically, when you're in prison, you don't have rights. So we're not violating human rights by using you as a guinea pig. I mean, you did something bad enough. I guess like maybe that's your way your way to make things back up to society is no, they're in Gen Pop. Ah, they just keep them in. Yeah, I think though that I think that they should. That's probably the way to go. Instead of doing these trials and that stuff, and to see what will work, on testings on animals. Let's make the prisons have their own area for the pedophiles, and we test on them. Let them try to make up for their crimes. Like I said, give them the COVID. Try to see what vaccines work. I mean, here's the thing: is either the vaccine, whatever they're trying to it's going to work, or they're going to wind up dying of COVID. So I mean, either way, it's a win-win. So. But that's just a thought. Now, saying that, of course, now I'm sure if someone in their 20s heard me say that, they'd be upset about that because I'm wanting to kill. He's talking about killing somebody. That's not right. You shouldn't give anybody a disease. That's why you spank your children. You have to. All right. No, that's the one thing. Yeah, Christopher, I'm on board. You know what? We need to start a change. Go on that, was it change.org or whatever that is, to make a petition and petition that the pedophiles and rapers and that stuff, that they need to be in separate jails and test on them. I mean, God, if you're going to do one of those stupid online freaking petitions, do one for that. That's at least something that's actually worthwhile to the whole world. Okay, it's not just worthwhile to you because you hate something and you want to get rid of it. And you're trying to you get other people with the same stupid ideas you have to do it. It's like, think of all the good you'd be doing. I don't know. You know what? I think I might have to start one of those. I'm gonna have to find that website and start. But if they'd let me, because it's like I'm not sure what a if infecting people and that might die from it, if that's considered a no on the change.org. So I have no clue on that. So I don't know. It all turns. Well, I'll just see what happens. And let's see. Christopher, if I start a cult, I will make you the number 2 man. The cult would be kind of fun to start. Thing is, like, where would you want us to? You would. You see, the thing is, but where would you want to start the cult at? If I was going to start a cult, I think I would go to probably San Diego and start it there. The reason I say San Diego, well, because that's where Comic-Con is, make it easier to go. But the weather was nice every time I was there, and it's one of the few places I've never seen a McDonald's with a law office sitting on top of it in the same building. It was the weirdest thing. Like, everything sat on top of each other, and so it's like that'd be the place to go, huh? But let's see. We're gonna have to. Yeah, see, Washington, Oregon. It's like, if I'm gonna start a cult, I think I just go with the San Diego, because it's like even what they consider cold, it's like, it feels nice here, and it doesn't get too hot, and because they don't have the humidity we have. But yeah, I have to think of the beginnings of, let's see, the teachings of a cult. Well, one, you cannot go and be one of, to be in the cult. You could not be one of those cult there people who do the freaking oh shit. I just said it a little while ago, the cancel culture generation. If you is one of those, will be vetting people. We'll look at your Facebook and be like, oh, sorry, you can't be in the cult because you were bitchy about this here on your Facebook. You don't get to be in. So, who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this might, and that, hell, even that might not matter about the cancel culture after a while. If we do become a monarchy, and like I said before, man, as things start to kind of fall apart, I see us heading more into that, instead of being the United States, being more like the old Western frontier, breaking off into sects, all different, although just people just leaving, going to the abandoned areas because they've lost their houses and all this kind of stuff, and starting their own new societies, their own new cities with the like-minded people, and there'll be other tribes, of people that think the same but against it, and so it's just going to be this weird craziness that's going to happen. And why? Because we funded the post office. Yes, the Keith Time dream will be alive then. Working on that, but that for YouTube, I don't think we can go into too much of the Keith Time, because in that, that would just make it. I think that's what they think it's a community standard type thing. That they're like, nope, you can't do that. So anyhow, so even back to the reality of everything, what did we learn? We learned we should do medical testing on pedophiles. We also learned that a lot of kids in their 20s, especially on Facebook, are the whiniest little bitches ever because they want to get rid of everything they don't like or they think is wrong. Or, which reminds me, speaking of that, so this one time, and this was all made a joke, just a little joke. Chick was wearing it's on Facebook. Chick was wearing spandex type pants that looked like newspaper print, and it was like, what did I can't remember what she said on there, but it was I just put down that this brings a new meaning to the words, to the phrase "read my lips." He thought that I stabbed somebody. It's all I know. I'm getting just a barrage of, that is, oh my God, you said that how can you, that is so, it's like, it was a historical quote that turned around and applied into a joke about you wearing pants. It was newspaper print. And my God, even the guys, I mean, we're just, okay, girls saying I could, you expect to say, like, oh my God, you'd say something sexual, but you'd say something sexual about my friend, and blah, 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 blah. But then the course guy jumps in and it's like, it's not, he's from, look at his age, he's part of that rape culture, that's in that kind of stuff, and it's like, what the fuck, So, no, those are some people that would, if we started a cult, those would be some of the people we'd sacrifice. Yeah, I think sacrifice them. But into more reality, with everything going on, Got the election season coming. Elections coming up. I got a cat at the door. Anyway, you need to go and really pay attention to what's going on out there, because as I said, defunding the post office is, again, is going. We're going to be. We're going to have a president that's taking out breaking another constitution law, something in the Constitution, getting rid of it, spitting on the Constitution, basically. So just keep aware of what's going on around you, and yeah, tonight was just kind of weird, just kind of all over the place. But well, if you haven't seen them yet, check out the Hiawatha video, and some of the others, the older videos that's on there, the Gun in Church or the Gun and Bible Church video. Neat, interesting little things, and I'm not sure, but there's gonna be. I'm not sure where to go to the next one, because the Hiawatha one was one I was really looking forward to ever since I saw it the first time. It's like, oh my god, that's so freaking awesome! Especially since it's built out of spite, basically. So, anyway, we're gonna have another trip coming up and all that kind of stuff, and talk to everybody later. Have a good evening. Hello.